everyone, it's Danrie from Crafty Giving, and in today's video I'd like to share how I made this polymer clay baby elephant mobile. This is a great gift for a baby shower or anyone who really enjoys little elephants. So to start with, you'll need to divide your clay. So I'm using these little score lines as my guide for each block of clay to make my elephants. So the first two lines I'm using for the head and ears, so I'm cutting off the ears there by cutting a small chunk of that one and putting it aside, and then I'm using the one single row and cutting a little chunk of that for the legs, and the rest of it I'm leaving for the body. You'll need to divide your clay accordingly if your clay looks a bit different than mine. To make the little elephant's body, you'll need to roll the largest piece of clay in between your hands into a nice ball that's nice and smooth, and then you'll need to roll it in between your hands to create a narrow top for where the neck of the elephant will be, and leaving the bottom a nice rounded bottom, and set that aside. Then you'll need to grab the row of two that we've cut, and the largest chunk of that will be the head, so you'll need to roll that into a nice smooth ball as well, and then start rolling it between your fingers only on one side of the ball to create the little trunk of the elephant. So you need to sort of extend that clay without sort of pulling on it, just keep rolling it in between your hands to lengthen out the clay to create the little trunk. Now you can go as long as you like for the trunk, or you can leave it quite short and stumpy like this one, and just set that aside. Then we'll divide the clay into two again and roll that into smaller balls. So this will be the ears for the elephant. So I'm just pressing that clay out in between my fingers to create nice even circles. You don't want the ears to be too thin, so be careful not to go too thin, as it might make the clay a bit too fragile once it's baked, and the ears might snap off. So leave it quite thick, and I like the look of the smaller ears. Place the circles behind the elephant's head and start smoothing out the attachment points with your finger to create a nice smooth look at the back of the elephant's ears. Only smooth on the back of the elephant's head, leaving the front untouched so that it creates a nice crease line next to the face and distinguish where the ear starts. Then grabbing the single row of clay that we divided into four. So the two largest pieces will be the hind legs of the elephant, and you want to roll that into a nice ball as well to make the clay quite pliable, and then create nice little teardrop shapes almost, but not having a really pointy narrow edge there. So this is going to be the hind legs of the elephant. So with the smallest or the narrowest part, press that into your body by just pressing it hard into the bottom sides of your body. If you have some polymer clay glue that you bake with the clay, go ahead and add some of that too, just to ensure that the little parts do not fall off. I did go back and add some after I filmed the video and before I baked it, just to be sure. And then do exactly the same process for the elephant's little arms. I know it's not technically arms, but for now we'll just call it arms instead of his front legs. To add some smaller detail to your elephant's arms and legs, grab something that has a small rounded edge like this little piping tip has. I'm just going to use the widest end of the piping tip and press that into the clay to create little toenails. Now if you don't have a piping tip like this, you can go ahead and use a straw by just sort of bending it into an oval and using that to create little imprints of the toenails. So in order for this to hang in a mobile, we need a little hole for the rope to go through. So grab a wooden skewer and insert that gently through the clay of the elephant's body, and then just sort of roll it around to really open it up so that you can insert the rope through that and it goes through comfortably. And do the same with the head, and being gentle not to sort of press too hard, otherwise you might make a little indent where you don't want it to be on the elephant's head. Now, keeping the skewer inside the elephant's body, attach the head. Now this is where you can add your glue to ensure that the head stays. Now I wasn't quite happy with where the arms of my little elephant was sitting, so I just gently removed it and smoothed out any sort of imprints, and then attached it a little bit higher. I thought it looked so much nicer with the arms sitting a bit higher rather than really low. It looked a bit ridiculous. Go ahead and add some more detail to the arms, and then it's time to add the eyes. So I'm just using these little black plastic beads that you use for jewelry making and attaching that by pressing it into the clay, ensuring that the beads opening hole is pressed evenly into the clay so that you cannot see the hole, otherwise it might look a little bit funny. So that leaves a nice smooth little eyeball, and just press it in quite firm and ensuring that the holes are covered on both sides. You can use a skewer if your fingers are too big like mine, and then your elephant is done. So adjust any bits of the ear or the trunk anywhere you like it before you bake it, and then heat your oven according to your polymer clay's instructions and bake your little elephants according to your polymer clay's instructions as well, and let that cool completely before we can continue. Once your elephants have cooled completely, go ahead and cover it in your favorite sealant or any other gloss and allow that to dry completely. To build your actual mobile, grab a really long piece of rope or twine like I have, and bring the two ends together to create a loop on the other end, and then about 2 centimeters from that loop I created a knot so that you have somewhere to hang this. And then I started to place little beads with little knots, a bead, a knot, and then the elephant. And in between each elephant I measured it to be about this long so that it has sufficient space in between, but you can adjust or create your mobile any way you like. Because twine and rope can be quite difficult to feed through the elephant, grab a long thin piece of wire that you can bend in half quite easily. I'm just using some jewelry wire to create a little loop. So this is going to act like a little needle threader for us. So insert that through the top to create a loop on top of the elephant's head, and feed your rope or twine through that loop so we can pull that through from the bottom on the wire so that it feeds your rope or twine through the elephant for you. Now you need to push that elephant as close to that knot as possible and create another knot on the other end as close to the elephant as possible, and decorate with beads or anything you like. I finished off the mobile by adding a little bell at the bottom just for a little bit of interest, and it makes a little bit of noise. And there you have it, a really fun, easy way to create a polymer clay baby elephant mobile, or a decoration for anyone who loves elephants. I really love this present so much that I actually went ahead and made myself one the next day using different colors. So I have a purple and pink and a blue and a grey elephant mobile as well that's hanging in my house. I displayed the present in this cute little gift box that's supposed to be for cupcakes, but I added some little shredded bits, and there you have it. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, comment down below, share it with your friends, and subscribe to my channel. I upload videos every Monday and Thursday, and I make videos on handmade gifts and other fun DIY projects. If you want to check out other videos by clicking on the links on the screen or in the links down below. And I thank you for watching, and I'll catch you next time. Bye!